went to Asda. I went to shoplifting. I'm a Nigerian soldier, ever eater who stole my visa. T-shirt wearer, super drinker, from the house waver. Pounded yam to the okra eater, jollof rice cooker, pop tester. I know a couple of juju master, Chichi cruncher, Shaki chewer. I use the bucket and container. Yeah, I know my wave like an African sailor. Where free material, call me a tailor. No woman, no crack, she no be whaler. Batman, please don't bust us and later. Yo, cause I need that from Ethiopia. Big Batika with everything and feature. Fufu shanty dance like a Kenya. Make my body cause I'm Nigeria. I went to Lidl, I went to shoplifting Lidl. Then I got caught in Lidl. Now I don't go back to Lidl. One day I went to Asda. I went to shoplifting Asda. Then I got caught in. One day I came to England without a real passport. I got past immigration without getting caught. Now I'm in England. I must go secondary school. I was 19, but I told them I was 14. So I'm in year 9 and I am doing my stats. I love to eat chicken and chips and let's not go on MSN. One day I was in the bath and Oyinbo man came to my door. He said, Olusola, I just said we are immigration. Go back to Lidl.
It's mine now. This is mine. The problem with England?
That's good. Hey, hold on. What's that? That Dr. Pell? That's that Dr. Pell.
I want to teach you some UK slang today, bro. So tell them where you're from first before we get into that.
I'm from Brooklyn. Here's how to get out of that.
Why life?
Give me wife, give me children, give me this, give me that, kill my enemy, kill my enemy, kill my enemy, give me, kill my enemy, give me. Anyone that doesn't want me to succeed, die by fire, die by fire, die by fire, die by fire, die by fire. Give me this, give me that, kill my enemy, give me that, give me this, give me, die by fire, die by fire, die by fire, die by fire, give me.
You mean, I got there the best like Spracker. Walk back a weed, a pop back like grandma. Walk back a girl like shop. Lord, walk back a girl like a dagger. Lick the girl live with the hammer. Lord, fit the girl bar for the bubble. I make a Ross girl bar like Jaja. Lord. Oh, God, what you telling me? Come on, this jump in this bitty yard. I mean. So I found the video I wanted to play, yeah? Come on, let me pick up the people them in the place. Hey, mad. There's more people here than there was on Umar Netar's channel still. Mad. Let it play. But anyway, I saw the Tinga man. Let's have a look at the people them in the chibbity chat. Mad. All eyes on you, walk on. Stop balling. Old tight OG Ellen Chains. Oh, go on. There you are. I am mate. Old tight Morpheus. Unaffiliated. That's funny still, man. Big up Morpheus still. Yeah. Old tight El Cid. Oh, go on. Come on. Buenos dias. Yo, big up, man. That's an unaffiliated, you know. Jeez. The blood of Jesus. Hey, hold on. You went too little. Man. Bus driver try to crash me, fam. Once we got in, yeah. Sit yourself out, I'm not the late one. So, bad. Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah, man. So, man, what's going on? Come come on. Big up the people them in the place, like the like button, share the stream, all that. You get me? Mad. That's because mad. Oh my days. Yeah, hopefully some people them actually take their kids outside of the house, bring them to the park and all that sort of shit. Get them a little, maybe a packed lunch, a picnic and all them sort of things there, you know? You know what I'm saying? Like, God damn, I'm too important in your life. If you're neglecting your children to spend time talking about me, big up, G. Yeah, man. I must mean too much in your life, you get me? Yeah? If you're neglecting your children to spend time online chatting about Velimus, Maximus, Decimus the First, while your kids are screaming in the background, yeah. Obsession, you get me? The Cologne by a Calvin Klein. Yeah, man, so take a long look in the mirror at yourself. You get me? Yeah? Brush your teeth and wash your face. And then slap yourself, man. And fix up. Start trace, man. Lava. Why for that? But anyway, yeah? Let's get busy straight away anyway, man. We ain't got long. And this one is a long video. Let it play. Whoop. Oh, let me get around this roundabout and then we can let it. Alright, let it play.
By saying that Iraq had nothing whatsoever to do with 9/11. Al-Qaeda in Iraq were inside Saddam Hussein's prisons, and the distortions that the Americans went to try and make a connection were disgraceful.
Special branch took the designated package off, which was a photocopier, and said, we can't find the bomb. Where is it? We'll drive it down the M1 so you can have a look at it. And we said, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Leave it where it is.
Welcome to The Rest is Politics Leading with me, Alistair Campbell.
And with me, Rory Stewart.
And we have our second double header. Listeners may remember we had two mayors at one point, Andy Burnham and Andy Street, and today we have two spies, people who have been at the very, very top of the British intelligence community. Eliza Manningham Buller, who started professional life briefly as a teacher before being recruited by MI5, the Domestic Security Service, and then rising to become its Director General from 2002 to 2007. So I fear we may have to touch upon Iraq at some point, not least because also here, Sir John Sawers, who from 2009 to 14 was C, the one-letter title given to the head of MI6 or SIS, the Secret Intelligence Service, which focuses more on abroad, if we can put it like that. As a career spy and diplomat, he was in one stage of his career a colleague of mine when he was Tony Blair's foreign policy advisor. He was an ambassador to Egypt and to the United Nations, and also he was our man in the Coalition Provisional Authority,
For my sins.
which oversaw post-war transition Iraq. So both have vast experience and insight into a lot of the things that we talk about a lot on the podcast, be that Russia, Ukraine, China, Taiwan, Gaza, terrorism, technology, and much, much more. But I wonder if we couldn't start with just both of you briefly setting out how you got into the world and the world that you were part of, and what qualities you think you had that took you both to the very top. Eliza, start with you.
Well, I fell into MI5 really by chance. This is not the way you join it today. I saw somebody at a drinks party when I was unemployed, and he said, "What are you thinking of doing?" And I was rather sort of vague. And the next thing I knew, I was going to room 055 in the old War Office building, where I was interviewed by a fairly anonymous man. I appeared to be able to read and write. And the next thing, I joined an organisation, and I'm ashamed to say I hardly knew what it was. It was I think it was an independent wing of the MOD, of course, which it wasn't. and that was in 1974.
So what did they see? What did this anonymous man see in you? That
I can't tell you, Alistair, I don't know, but certainly the view of the service then was that it wanted compliant women to transcribe, i.e. listen to the intercept of English language intercepts, to be secretaries. And after I joined, the so-called lady superintendent said the role of women here is to support the men. I very nearly resigned at that stage, but I decided to stay and found plenty of other women who were rather cross about the subservient roles they had and worked to change it, which gradually it did change.
There's a paradox, isn't there? Because you're coming in 74. By that stage, Daphne Park in SIS had already been head of station in the Congo. She'd been head of station in Vietnam. She was on her way to being a controller. Was there a difference between the culture of the two services?
I'm not sure I was aware at the beginning. There was one or two senior women, but they were very sparse on the ground. And they were usually there because they had a particular expertise. I think John might agree that within SIS, Daphne Park was not followed immediately by lots of other senior women doing operations, and it took some time for that to become standard.
John?
Well, I was at Nottingham University and running the Students' Union there for a year after I'd completed my degree, wondering what to do. And I applied for the Foreign Office, and slightly to my surprise, I was accepted. I think then, it sounds odd for a middle-class man, a white man, to be talking about diversity. But back then, I went to a comprehensive school and a red brick university. I was diversity when it came to applications to the senior civil service and to the Foreign Office. So that probably helped me a little bit, especially as I...
All right, we can pause there for a second, have a little chin work about a lot of claims about these, people are complaining about these diversity hires, anything to do with woke and equality and blah, 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 blah. But you can see here, yeah, that this is like, I would say like maybe a upper middle class guy, probably started off in lower middles, went to a red brick uni, for an interview at MI5 and was hired as a diversity hire because he went to a red brick university. Yeah, so all these men saying equality's gone too far. It's crazy. Crazy. Anyway, go on, let's play some more, man.
As I'd studied science and I wasn't particularly good at the civil service exams, but I managed to get through all that. And I was finally accepted by the Foreign Office. And then I was invited to have coffee with a professor at university, and rather similar to Eliza. She said to me, this professor, John, congratulations on being accepted to the Foreign Office, but would you like to do something even more exciting? And this, of course, turned out to be MI6, and I went through a similar sort of process that Eliza went to and ended up in MI6. And I spent a number of years in the organization, but actually it wasn't what I really wanted to do. I wasn't really into operations and operational security and detection surveillance routes and all these sorts of things. I was much more interested in ideas and policy and diplomacy. So after a few years, I switched back to what I originally wanted to do, which was the Foreign Office. I crossed the river, as they say, from MI6 to the Foreign Office, and spent most of my career in the Foreign Office. So I was very happy at the United Nations, enjoying being ambassador there and doing all the things you do as ambassador at the UN. When I got a second tap on the shoulder, and this time from Gus O'Donnell, the cabinet secretary, saying, "John, we actually need someone from outside MI6 to run the organization."
Which was quite controversial.
It was quite controversial. I was the first person for 40 years who had been had most of their career outside the organization. It was controversial inside the service. Some of my predecessors didn't like it, but actually I think I decided there was plenty enough experience running intelligence operations inside the organization. My job was not that. My job was to be outward facing, rebuild some of the trust that had been damaged in the post 9/11 period, the Iraq issue that you referred to, Alistair, the mistreatment of detainees, trust in the organisation had gone down. And my job was to help rebuild that and refocus the organisation on what it really needed to do.
So just before we come back to that fascinating issue, John set up a sort of contrast between being someone who enjoyed.
Let me pause it one more time though. So I'm saying another diversity hire, yeah? DI, yeah? Mad. Yeah, man. So, yo. Anyway, yeah. They ain't got into the meat and potatoes yet of thing. Well, obviously, the lady made a statement at the start. She said that 9/11 has nothing to do with the Iraq war. How many people in the chat agree with such a statement? With such a statement? How many in the chat agree with such a statement? I don't know if you caught the most important part of why she said that. She said that because Al Qaeda was in jail in Iraq. Yeah. She said Al Qaeda was in jail in Iraq. And then obviously, you know, after the fall of Saddam, them man on the roadside, so you know. Alright. Let it play. Like we say, no answers, yeah? Yeah, that's right, cuz.
Operation and surveillance and somebody who does policy. Were you ever tempted to move sideways into the Home Office and do more sort of ministerial policy stuff?
No,
or
not
did you?
the Home Office. I was tempted to leave completely for various reasons. One, the discrimination against women was quite profound at the beginning. There were encounters I had where I felt quite hostile to the leadership. I wasn't alone in that. But no, I wouldn't have gone to another bit of government.
And so you actually quite I mean, John was saying, you know, he was less interested in day-to-day operations, more interested in kind of big policy issues. You actually quite enjoyed operations and the day-to-day
but it's also,
work.
I did, but it's also a difference between the two organisations. You know, MI6 is acting to get intelligence on what the government wants, you know, against the requirements of the JIC. MI5 is not generally doing big policy strategic issues. It's doing day-to-day work to prevent people here and overseas doing things which are going to harm us or our allies. So it's by its very nature more micro, and therefore the sort of intelligence that John's organisation was producing is generally more strategic than the sort of stuff that MI5 is working on, which is, you know, what's happening here in the UK.
And I'm sure there are many answers to this question, but give us a sense of some of the things that make a good officer in the security service. What sort of personality might be helpful? What types of personality do you think like that kind of work?
I think the sort of personality that many employers would want. People who are not motivated by vanity, ambition and public recognition, who want to do a good job in actually an area that is rewarding, if not financially rewarding. It's rewarding if you stop something and you've saved lives or whatever. You want people who are very much prepared to be part of a team. You want people who are intelligent, articulate, who can get on with other people, who can talk to a foreign intelligence officer, a terrorist, who so on, and who understand they can't talk about it. They can talk in the most general terms to their husband, partner, whatever. But if you're not prepared for that degree of invisibility throughout most of your career, you need to go somewhere else and be an ambassador like John was. I'm not suggesting that was John's motivation, but it was a different.
Thanks, Eliza.
So final one from you and then back to Alistair. What would be an example of somebody who actually is an impressive woman or man who could have a great career in another place but might not be suited to the security service? How would you describe somebody who could be very talented, very admirable somewhere else, but might not be the kind of person that would work in the security service?
I think I want to resist the kind of person, because intelligence is very often imprecise, incomplete, open to varying interpretations and analysis, and because you often need to take decisions on completely inadequate information, you don't want a type. You want a range of experience, attitudes. I mean, some people would not fit in by being arrogant, indiscreet, vain. That's
very negative.
too sort of macho. You want people who are sensible, but I don't think there's a template. I think you want a good variety of experience and qualities. So it's not directly answering your question, but I think
if I could add to that, I agree with all the qualities that Eliza mentions. Someone who could be sort of a hard-charging banker, a deal seeker, you don't really want that sort of person in the security services. You've got to have someone who's willing to work quietly behind the scenes, build relationships, build trust, because you're asking people to do dangerous things, especially in MI6. I think the officers of MI6, male and female, probably take on more risk than any other public servants not in uniform, and they're operating in dangerous places, and the agents they recruit and run are taking even greater risk. And you've got to be able to manage that in a very thoughtful, considered, balanced way. I mean, James Bond is great fun, but James Bond is not a model for a modern intelligence officer. And above all, the quality that you need is teamwork. You need to work with the people who are setting the requirements, the people who are planning the operations, the technology experts, which have become more and more part of devising intelligence operations. You very often work closely with MI5 and GCHQ and with foreign partners as well.
Oh, Star. Yeah, mind you don't get recruited by MI6 because, you know what I mean, you'll be out there in the field. You get me, cuz? Yeah, man, Star, you know. Yeah, that time still, man. So obviously, like, first of all, they're talking about, you know, introduction to the people and their roles and so on. So they're gonna get busy about an actual topic in a sec, or topics to do with like the security service and the way that they handle certain business. Yeah, but there's some more.
And the last thing you want is someone who is a big thrusting deal maker.
I think there's another point picking up from what John was saying, which is that on the danger side, certainly staff of the security service encountered some pretty dangerous experiences in Northern Ireland.
You headed up the Irish counter-terrorism for a while, didn't you?
Yes.
So that presumably, and you know, when I was kind of a journalist, that was what we perceived as the biggest threat to the UK, and then into the time in Downing Street when John and I worked together. But how different is the threat that you were dealing with then to the kind of threats that, when we talk about terrorism today, what's the difference? What's the scale of difference?
Well, we were always dealing with both. I mean, when I joined the service, I was dealing with international terrorism, things like Carlos the Jackal, the Abu Nidal group, various manifestations of Sikh terrorism, Croatian terrorism, and Palestinian.
Yeah, that there. But you know, I hear enough times that the Sikh gang like to act like them and then never get involved in the thing still. Yeah. She said Sikh terrorism. yeah. Carlos the Jackal, Palestinian. Man. Alright. Yeah. Just in case you never caught it, innit? Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
I think the difference was that the Irish issue had been incredibly long term. The Metropolitan Police Special Branch were founded in the 1880s to deal with Fenian bomb attacks in Ireland. And for quite a long time, this was neglected. It was on the island to the west of us, people in London, and there was little effort to address it. And I think John Major, Mrs. Thatcher, John Major, and Tony Blair all deserve credit for the peace process. I was in Ireland the other day, and I have to pinch myself, Northern Ireland, because it's so different. Those terrorists were not, they were ideologically motivated from either side. They were not suicide bombers. They became increasingly sophisticated, from pub bombings to trying to destroy the economic base of the City of London. Now, that's quite a different model and a structure. I mean, if you could draw an organogram of the provisional IRA, you could understand that. But the more recent, from the early 90s, Al-Qaeda-related terrorism and then ISIS, you've got a much more distributed threat. You've got it emerging all over the world. It's not directed centrally. It's often inspired. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's inspired. So to that degree, it's a more challenging intelligence target, including for SIS. Whereas you knew with Ireland, with Northern Ireland, you knew where your targets were and you knew where they were going to travel. So we were very slow, I think, generally to work well with the police and the army. But by the end, towards the end of the Troubles, the intelligence response was pretty sophisticated.
John, you mentioned that part of your job when you took over was to sort of restore the sort of lost trust. And I know, Eliza, you've been pretty critical about aspects of the Iraq War. Just give me your take. You've been on both sides. You've been in Downing Street and you've been head of SIS. What was the actual take in relation to Iraq of what happened over Tony Blair deciding, based upon the intelligence that we were being given the whole time from Richard Dearlove and his colleagues, about the dossier thing, putting some of this stuff into the public domain? Because we heard a lot. I never heard it to my face, but we heard a lot of mumblings through the media and grumblings that this was just sort of fundamentally changing what SIS was for. So what's your sense, having been on both sides?
Well, I think after the Iraq dossier goes back to the 1980s and the 1991 Gulf War. And after that, there was a shock everywhere at how far Saddam Hussein had gone in developing chemical and biological weapons and developing a nuclear program. Had he not invaded Kuwait in 1990, he might well have had nuclear weapons a few years later. And the fundamental mistake that was made in the 1990s was a presumption everywhere that Saddam Hussein still had these programs. And the challenge posed to MI6 at the time and to other intelligence agencies wasn't, has Saddam Hussein got these weapons? It's, where are these weapons? Would you please find them? And that remained the case up until the summer of 2003, after Saddam was overthrown. Now, mistakes were made. I mean, Eliza was in office at the time. I was ambassador in Egypt in the run-up to the
Mad, innit? Depending on what side of the fence you sit on, yeah, or the role that you hold or whatever, yeah. Yeah. People can die, countries can change and get fucked up or whatever, yeah. And you can say, well, we made a mistake, yeah. While sitting in a nice studio collecting your pension or whatever, and you guys like, Lord have mercy. Yo. Yeah, man. So, but it's definitely an interesting listen, like you're trying to say. Like, a lot of this stuff has been discussed by people that don't have access to these people that are speaking. And like us, man, we ain't got access to ask any questions to these guys or whatever about whatever their role was at the time of these certain scenarios taking place. So now we do get a chance to hear what they're saying, you know. it's an interesting listen still. It don't mean that you don't have to believe what they're saying, innit? As they're saying, it's interesting listening to the people that had these roles at the time and was able to make certain decisions that we've discussed, whether they've been wrong, right, or whatever. But let's play some more in it, man. Let it play.
The war. I think mistakes were made in the organization of the intelligence services at the time, especially in SIS. There was too much weight put on individual reports, and there wasn't enough proper cold-eyed assessment of individual reports. And I think it was also a mistake, frankly, in hindsight, to put it all together in a dossier which was designed to persuade the public of the validity of this war. And there are occasions.
Hey, remind me if I'm wrong here, because like, you know, like I was probably around a teenager at this time. Is this the time when they said they had the sexed up dossier? The sexed up dossier. Do you remember that? Is this that time there? I swear it is. I swear it is. The dossier that's gone out to the public to convince everyone that invading Iraq is the right thing. Is that the one, yeah? With the weapons guy, what's his name? Hans Blix or something like that. Is it? Is it? Am I correct? I'm not even sure, you know. Hey, wait. I was gonna say, are there 25 people watching and like no one like kind of typing? Or is this the pagans are preying there? Wait, hold on. We just got the pagan, them are prey. Yeah, Dr. Kelly and them man there. Okay. Yeah. No, I just checking in it, man, you know. Just checking. But yeah, carry on doing it.
When intelligence can be helpfully used in public. We saw it around the time of the launch of the Ukraine war by the Russians.
Yeah.
I think that was a different circumstance. That was using intelligence to gain operational advantage against the enemy, in this case, the Russians. I'm much more reserved about using intelligence to persuade Parliament or persuade the public of what we're doing. I think we made that mistake in 2002. And frankly, David Cameron came close to making the same mistake over Libya in 2011.
And yet you had a reputation for opening up SIS. I think you were the first head to be outed, speak publicly about the role that you did. Are you saying we got too close to your predecessors and that they got too close to us and maybe the roles got confused?
Well,
Eliza's nodding.
Eliza's nodding, and she was there at the time. I think there were some personality issues. Certainly, when I was chief of MI6, I saw my job as being to provide intelligence and take part in collective assessments and collective judgments. I didn't see it as my job to rush to the Prime Minister's side and show him the latest bit of intelligence that we got from the field.
Which Dialog was doing.
Well, you were there, I wasn't. And I think that was a mistake that came out in the Butler report in 2004, in the aftermath of the Iraq mistakes, about the failure to follow proper process in assessing this intelligence. But the reality is, I mean, I'm not excusing anybody here, but the French and the Germans and even the Russians also were convinced that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. The argument wasn't over the intelligence. The argument was over what to do about it.
Eliza, you were nodding.
I think that it's...
So, I'm not 100% sure on what the argument was at the day here, but I'm sure that we listened to a historian called Roy Casagrande that said, with the Iraq war, I think there was a time when Saddam was trying to surrender and their man weren't there. Their man weren't accepting the surrender. Man, they weren't accepted no surrender because they said they were for dead. You get me? Somebody are for dead from him threatening me to box me. Mad. You hear me, cuz? Like, but it's mad still. I don't know. Let me ask you guys this first of all, yeah, and see if there's like any normal people in the chat. Like, should places like the United Kingdom, like the European Union countries, America, Canada, Australia, and all, China, Russia, and places like that, India, or whatever, should they be more instrumental in trying to remove dictators from states that are not democratic, or should they let them fall by themselves? Yeah, should they let them fall at the will of the people? It's like a bit of a catch-22, right, Bakari? Like when people say they want to remove the dictatorships and so and so, obviously there's always a fight back against it, innit? Like, and now your state may become the enemy that the dictator's been looking for to hold on to power, to direct all his bad actions, or her bad actions, or the bad policies and so at the countries that are trying to get them removed. And then the other thing is like, right, if it is like that, yeah, how do the people on the ground end up? It always has to end up in some extreme situation, like places like Burkina Faso and that, where it ends up your army has to end up dashing you out and taking over. it's mad still. There ain't no simple answer to it still, like, so. So it's hard to just say one or the other, innit, yeah? And there's no easy route. So, alright, go on, carry on, man. Let it play.
And this comes out in Robin Butler's excellent report that it's dangerous to give raw intelligence to senior ministers without a proper assessment from the JIC. I mean,
the Joint Intelligence Committee.
Joint Intelligence Committee. I mean, you were very much behind the dossier, Alistair, and my organisation, number one, didn't have much relevant intelligence for obvious reasons, but number two, such as we had, we resisted pressure to put it in because we didn't think it was solid. And I think it's worth pointing out that John Scarlett, when he moved from being chair of the JIC to running MI6, he looked with great detail at the intelligence that had gone into the dossier, and most of it was withdrawn because a quite high proportion came from opponents to Saddam Hussein who had a vested interest in a particular outcome, so it was unsound. I mean, I agree with John. The will...
You also hear that, yeah? Even that there, they was getting intelligence and whatever from people that was wanting to take man down, so it might not have even been 100% true intelligence or whatever. It was just like, you know, chess moves, mind games. You hear me? Mind games. Yeah. Yeah, man, it's what you say. I will play those games you play. Yeah. Jeez. But, oi, oi. Oh shit. Yeah, sir. That's what time it is round there still. Alright, go on, let it play.
There will be occasions when intelligence needs to be used openly for good reasons, but we need to be cautious about it. And too much of it, and we'll stop having intelligence.
Eliza, give us a sense of how you now view the way we handled Iraq today and what it's meant for Britain and the world.
If I may, I'll start by saying that Iraq had nothing whatsoever to do with 9/11. Al-Qaeda in Iraq were inside Saddam Hussein's prisons, and the distortions that the Americans went to try and make a connection were disgraceful. I was the deputy head of the...
What she's trying to say there, yeah? I want DJ H Soul to fucking start making videos on me and shit. You know? Belly vision of G Block. Yeah, me. Belly vision of G Block. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're reviewing Belly vision of G Block. Yeah, I don't know what she's trying to say there, yeah, but it kind of did sound like that she's implying that it was beneficial to the agencies that was working on the Americans' behalf to release the Al-Qaeda dons and get rid of Saddam Hussein. You know what I mean? And welcome to my channel. Today we're reviewing Velivision G Block. Fucking pagan. Can't take this cunt. Yeah, man. You know what, yeah? I do like X7 still, man. Yeah. They dope still. Alright, God, they play.
MI5 and the head of GCHQ and the head of SIS went to America 24 hours after 9/11 to discuss with the Americans the significance of all of this and what we were going to do together. And the Americans hadn't been asleep. Robert Mueller had become, who I'd known from Lockerbie when he was in the Department of Justice, had just become head of the FBI. And I don't remember any mention of Iraq.
No.
We knew this was Al-Qaeda from prior intelligence, that they were going to launch a major attack that autumn.
All right. So it sounds like it was cleared up there, yeah? So it sounds like they was receiving intelligence that was favorable to people who were more favorable to Al-Qaeda than to Saddam Hussein about weapons of mass destructions and other things correlating with what they originally thought about Saddam Hussein, first of all. And then also, they knew 9/11 was Al-Qaeda because they had intelligence about 9/11 being Al-Qaeda. Yes, we're in the same place, yeah? Yeah. We're up to speed? Alright, so that's what it sounds like we're at so far, right? Alright. Play.
Then subsequently we went back to the British Embassy, and again there was no suggestion that Iraq was in any way relevant to what had just happened. The CIA assessment was that Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11. So Donald Rumsfeld started a special unit in the Department of Defense to try and prove it did. Before we went into Iraq, the JIC, the Joint Intelligence Committee's judgment, this would increase terrorism in the UK. Of course, it doesn't follow that an action should be stopped because of a fear of increased terrorism. The two have a connection, but they don't necessarily follow. But that came to pass, and the rush of terrorism we had to deal with after 9/11 in this country, it's absolutely clear from the video wills and others of the people who were arrested, it was motivated by Iraq. So looking back on it, as I think I said in the Rees lectures, in a sense we gave bin Laden his jihad in Iraq, and I think that, I mean, you, John, and Rory have much more understanding of the Middle East than I do, but I think it was a mistake.
What terrorists look for from spectacular attacks is an overreaction. And I think bin Laden would have been well satisfied with the US overreaction to 9/11, not necessarily in Afghanistan, but certainly.
Yeah, it's mad still, the way that they've been able to sort of try to understand the mind of someone like bin Laden or whatever. Like, they're saying basically like, right, when he carried out that 9/11 action, he was looking for a giant overreaction in the way that America was gonna retaliate, and then that helps recruit more people towards their thinking, yeah, because they get some people that are nothing to do with it, or might have family members that were close to it, end up getting harsh treatments, and some people end up taking up the fight with people that they've lost and all that sort of stuff. There still, that's mad, innit? It's a techie line, car. It's like, right, on the other side, yeah, if you don't box, man, after they've bust your shit or whatever, like, what are you supposed to do? Fucking go around there and do nothing? I don't know, like, it's mad still. Yeah. It's like, that's why they got smarter people than us guys running their intelligence agencies, right? Bare places would have got bun up. Anyway, go on, man, let it play.
Certainly in Iraq. And I think in some ways Hamas will be belatedly satisfied now at the Israeli overreaction in Gaza. And this is something we have to be careful about. You take as an example maybe the way the Indians reacted to the Mumbai attack in 2007, I think it was. You were in office then, I think, Eliza. And the Indian first reaction was to smash the Pakistanis for having launched this attack against their biggest city. But in the end, calm prevailed, and the perpetrators of the Mumbai attack, perhaps they got away with multiple murders, but they didn't get the political satisfaction of the Indians overreacting.
John, you were always pretty calm and unflappable when you were working for TB in Number 10, but I do remember visiting you when you were working with Paul Bremer in Iraq, and it did feel like there was a lot of panic going on.
Well, you get plucked out of Cairo and sent to work under slightly false pretenses. I was told I'd only be there for a few weeks and I could probably do it for 2 or 3 days a week. And you end up working 17 hours a day, 7 days a week in a complete chaos, with the Americans being directed by Rumsfeld and the Department of Defense about the big mistakes they made on the Iraqi army, on de-Baathification, going far too far. It was about trying to do what you could to ameliorate the situation. And it was a lot of pressure. I think if I achieved one thing in Iraq in those months after the fall of Saddam, it was putting together a governing council, which for the first time in Iraq's history reflected the people, the makeup of the people of a very complicated country. And that's been the basis for and the starting point for steadily
Yeah, so what? I don't know much about Iraq at the moment. Still, like, are they getting like rebuilding their democracy and all that sort of stuff there in Iraq? And like, I don't know that much about the Middle East like that. You know what I mean? But it'd be interesting if anyone knows still what's going on there today still. And remember, yeah, let me give you a reminder, yeah, this interview here was carried out before Keir Starmer took office. So Rishi Sunak is still the Prime Minister at the moment while this interview is taking place. Yeah, so Rishi Sunak is still the Prime Minister while this interview is taking place. And obviously it looks like Labour might win the next election. Obviously they did win it, innit? But it's around that sort of time, innit, where it's looking like Conservatives are gonna get smashed up still. Mad. Anyway, alright, Ron.
Gradually improving governance in Iraq, despite the terrible violence that we've witnessed there, and putting some sense of order back into that country.
Nonetheless, it's still pretty grim. I mean, I was in Iraq last year. It's pretty depressing. Driving through Baghdad, driving from Baghdad to Mosul at the moment, you get Shia militia posters every 200 yards. You get into Mosul itself, you have pictures of Saddam Qasem Soleimani. You have monuments against the US and the UK on the way from the airport. I mean,
what you're saying, Rory, and I agree with you, is that after you dismantle an autocratic regime, if you leave chaos behind, it takes 20 years or more to put things back together again. We may have to face the same in Iran at some point when the theocratic regime there collapses, which it will. North Korea is a nightmare of how that comes to an end, especially for the neighboring South Koreans.
So, but still, what's going to happen in the future when some of these other regimes end up toppling themselves or whatever, like he was saying, Iran, North Korea's, and so and so. You know, what's going to happen at them times? They're going to be like, well, it's not going to be a smooth transition because it never is it? It's never, like my man just said, right, it takes at least 20 years or whatever. Especially if you leave it in chaos for it to get back to any sort of stage resembling somewhere that could hold or take care of his people. It's mad, isn't it? So it's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. It's super grey in the grey areas right now, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know. I can't really speak on what's happened lately in Iraq or whatever, you know. But yeah, it would just be interesting to hear that stuff. Shoot, that man like Khan, you know. Oh, God.
What's happening?
What you saying?
Boy. These lot are just chatting some bullshit, you know.
Who's that?
About all this Iraq and Syria and all that business.
About that. Alright, Syria and that, yeah. What was they chatting shit about?
Yeah, it's like, in a way, it's like people kind of like get sucked into thinking this whole thing's like a knock-on effect to something else, and we're just along for the ride, and it's like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, and what we're gonna do, sort of thing. That's not really the truth. The truth of the matter is, since Sykes-Picot, England and France have just divided up the Middle East, and then now that the Europeans have run into some sort of economic downturn, they need to start liquidizing some assets. What you see is America and England freezing out France, pushing them out of the deal, basically because they're the junior partner, pushing them out of the deal, basically just going into the Middle East and just balkanizing it, just breaking it up into little pieces. They're breaking up each country into like 2 or 3 or 4 even pieces. So like this is something that they've started now since lockdown. Like all what happened before was just like temporary. Like you see countries like Iraq. You got to remember Iraq, Iran, all these borders, like what we're looking at as what we think in our lifetime as a country. Some guy sat down with a ruler, a piece of paper, and decided where to carve it up and what like populations were going to get carved up on what side of what border. They decided all that. Like these countries ain't real countries. Syria ain't a real country. Iraq ain't a real country. It's just been presented to us in our lifetime in that manner, and we accept that as reality, but that's not reality. What they're doing is they're going into these places and they're going to break them up, like I said, into 3 or 4 places. And what they're doing is they're using sectarianism, like some Sunni Shia divide or some Kurdish story, to like break it up into like minimum 3 pieces right there. So Iraq is in 3 or 4 pieces, like just like that, Sunni Shia, Kurdish, and whatever, and some next piece. Syria is the same. You got the Druzes, and the ones that border onto Israel. Israel's gone in there, collapsed the peace. The Kurds grabbed their bit, and then the Sunnis are left in the middle. They've got to share out a little piece to whoever. And it's like that's in 4 pieces. So gradually they're going through balkanizing, making smaller pieces, breaking up the governments into smaller countries, and basically making it impossible for people to actually unite against them. So where they're uniting, where you got like United States of America, where you got the United States of Europe, they're all joining together, consolidating their forces. But with other people, like in Africa and in Asia, they're forcing people to break up into smaller countries. So there's no unity. So they can't stand up against their power. And it's just their strategy of basically getting their hands on the resources. But what it is at the moment, they're trying to limit the what's it called? The knock-on effects, like, for example, migration and things like that, where people traditionally would have to move. So now they need people to be complicit. Like they need Turkey to, let's say, take the Syrians. They need Egypt to take the Palestinians. They need whoever to take the Iraqis. Do you know what I mean? That they need certain people to be complicit in their bullshit. And that's all it is. It's like you're either going to be complicit with them, or they're going to break you up into small pieces and you're going to get devoured and your resources are all going to get rinsed. And that the only reason for that is their whole thing's based on expansionism and imperialism. That's their thing. Ultimately, when you look at these people, they're a warlike tribe of people that have got no like intention of ever stopping this perpetual warfare. Now, for them to sit there and go, it's the terrorists. If they want us to overreact, we're playing into their hands. And then like what you said is, well, if you don't react, then what happens is what you're encouraging more terrorism. But here's the thing, why is there terrorism in the first place? Like, why is there terrorism? Like there wouldn't be terrorism if you wasn't in next man's country, taking up their land, rinsing out their resources, influencing their politics, making people homeless, and forcing them into a situation where they have to protest or fight back or clap back or whatever it is. It don't make sense, bro, to try and blame anything on terrorism. Terrorism is not a cause of anything. It's actually the, what's it called? It's not the cause, it's the symptom. is a symptom of their imperialism, right? So when we look at the history of terrorism, look at the first terrorist attack in the Middle East. Where did that start? That was the Jews, isn't it? The Jews done an attack against the British Mandate of Palestine, and they wanted their own country, right? They got their own country. In Cyprus, the Greek Cypriots turned against the British. The British tried to use the Turkish Cypriots against them to subdue them, but it didn't work. The Greek Cypriots tried to do some genocide move. What happened? They got rid of the British, but the British kept their bases. Yeah. Same thing. When you look at the knock-on effect of terrorism, Saudi Arabia, what? England got Lawrence of Arabia out there, encouraged him to do some terrorist move, yeah, and kick the Ottomans out. Right. So then what happened? Oh, so now the little tribe, the tiny little tribe, the Wahhabis, they ended up what? With the whole of Saudi Arabia to rule over everyone else, with English backing them up. How the world is today, don't forget, it's like that for a reason. They made it like that already. Like this is just like, it's like eating food, chewing it and digesting it. You get me? Like them places have already been like chewed. Now they're just digesting it. We're in the digestion process now. Like they already like got thingy before. Like these men went and done their shopping and brought the shopping home and put it in the cupboard. Right? Now we're looking at the digestion process now. You get me? That's the situation we're in. So for these lot to talk about terrorism, it's a bit rich, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? They've created this issue in the world. They've created this problem in the world. And that's why they arm them as well. They arm all the T groups. They're involved with all the T groups. They're all behind it. Like it sounds like a conspiracy. Like why would England, why would America be involved in supporting T groups? Sounds crazy. But really, when you look at it, they openly say it. It's like there was an interview the other day where they're chatting to Elon Musk about saving money. Yeah. And he's sitting there going, yeah, we send money to this country and that country. And why are we paying for children to have nappies in Uganda? We're sending them X amount of money. But then you realize, wait a minute, there ain't no children that need nappies in Uganda. Where's that money really going? You know? It's going to groups of people to overturn other groups of people. And we're looking at what's going on in Congo, yeah. You got Rwandans who are the best buddies of England, which we already know this because they're telling us Rwanda's some safe haven where they're going to send people to Rwanda. Yeah. So Rwanda's cool with them, right? What do we know about Rwanda? Yeah, they just recently had some genocidal warfare going on there, right? So then they're knee deep in this kind of infiltration. They've been infiltrated, right? They got Western powers telling them where to go, who to start trouble on, where to start some upheaval, what countries to infiltrate and break up. And they're in Congo doing the madness. Are we going to now say that none of the resources in Congo are going to make their way back to the West? Are we going to say that the West are giving out arms and not getting back the resources, and that's just not their main concern? Like this whole thing, this nefarious influence they have in the world, when you tell people this, they'll sit there like you'll get Wendy and Base Luke jump on and try to defend it. But this is what we don't understand. It's like, why would you go through that whole thing and then keep it on a covert thing? Why not just be open and blatant with it and say, yeah, well, this is what we're doing, innit? You know, and then that's why Trump is just so open with it. Trump's like, why are we going to lie about it? Like, it's gone past that stage now. We don't need to even lie anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's like your cheating ex. Like you were suspicious that she was cheating on you, but now when you know for sure, and you tell her like, oh, I caught you cheating on me, she'll turn around and say, so what, motherfucker? You don't pay my bills. I could do what I fucking want. This is what happens when someone's abusing you and you call them out for their abuse. That's why they say don't never expose a narcissist. Because they will tell you to your face, yeah, so what? And that's what we're looking at now. We're looking at a new era with Donald Trump saying, yeah, we're going to take Gaza. We're going to keep that shit. But that's what it's coming to now. That's when the chickens come home to roost, because you can't thingy no more. You can't cover up that story no more. You're out there fucking up the whole world. Why? Why is America like, America don't need to go around the whole world fucking up the whole world? Why are they doing that? Because they're looking at it as, if they're on top, they want to stay on top. They don't want China to go in there. But China, even if China's got like no intention of going in there, America still got to make sure they don't go in there. That's all it is. They're slowing up everyone else's role. They're like, oh, we can't have these people catching up to us because we're on top and we're going to stay on top. We're putting all this work to be the best. Now we've got to kind of like make sure we stay on top. And this is how they've gone about doing that. That's how they're justifying it. They're saying, well, if we don't go in there, someone, it's like when you see a Jew taking a man's house and you say to him, like, bro, you're a thief, bro. You've got in there teeth up the man's yard. And he's like, well, if I didn't take it, someone else would have took it. Like, that ain't no justification, isn't it? So when you realize that we're living in some fucked up world where there ain't no ethics, there ain't no morals, there ain't no truth, there ain't no organization, there ain't no United Nations, there ain't no fucking nothing, unless it suits them, right? Like ICJ and I whatever, bringing out warrants against Netanyahu, and they're laughing at it, turning around and going, wait a minute, these are the organizations that we've set up, yeah, to benefit us. How are they now turning around and working against us? That can't run. That can't run. Like, they're bringing out warrants against who? And they're just laughing at it. You know what I mean? But when they bring out warrant against, what's his name, Putin, they all stand up and go, yeah, Putin's a war criminal, Putin this, Putin that. But when it's their own boy now, they're laughing, going, yeah, but how can our own court bring out decisions against our proxies? That don't make sense. The man's out there doing a job for us. Trump's tucking his chair in for him when he's sitting down. He's out there doing a job for us, isn't it? How we now are going to process a thing against? It's like back in the day when there was a police complaints department. You used to go to complain about police officers, and you know nothing's going to come of it. That's exactly what the situation is. Like, you're complaining to a body to deal with a crime against you, like as if like they're not in it together. They're in it together. Like, nothing's going to come of it. There ain't no, like, the fact is the West go on like they're so righteous and everyone else is barbarians, and Somalians are barbarians according to Tommy Robinson, and Turks are barbarians and Muslims are barbarians, and everyone's trying to attack them, and this like passive aggressive bullshit they come out with, like they're the victims, but they're actually going around the world fucking up the whole world. Like, you can't deny that. Can't deny that they're not just going around the world fucking up the world. Man's are in fucking Alaska, warring over fucking resources. Man's are trying to acquire Greenland. What the fuck you gonna do with Greenland, bruv? Nah, we're gonna take it off Denmark. This is the issue, bruv. You're seeing even what financially now, America, yeah, is going to war with Europe. How is that possible? Because these look, like I said, they're warmongering people that just don't give a shit. Like this whole thing, like this whole global division is just based on England warring France, England making sure France don't get nowhere. That's all it is. It's like two brothers are fighting each other, and they fucked up the whole world just to see which one of them is going to come out on top, and everyone else is just collateral damage, because that's all they really care about. Like, don't forget, these countries have had like wars that lasted over 100 years with each other. And what purpose did it serve? Like, you got to remember now they're saying they're going to go to war with Russia in thingy, yeah? In Ukraine. They're going to send British troops there. What's the point of that? Because they've got no jobs for people sitting around doing nothing. There's extra people floating about creating trouble, that they just need them out of the equation. They'll just send you off to war. They'll send your children off to war. Like, the population will decline. Like, they're saying, we ain't got enough people, we've got to bring immigrants in, and then they want to go and start a war. It don't make sense. But this is just how these people run the show. They've always done it like that. Just let's get rid of the working class people, stick them on a fucking boat, send them to Australia, send them off to fight the Red Indians.
Wait, hold on, man. How long's your rank gonna be, cuz? I'm thinking you was just gonna make a statement from about that, yeah.
But I'm not even making a statement, bro. I'm saying that this is the state of the world that we're living in, where we're under some illusion that the West is like righteous. No, but we're under this, like,
I was saying, yeah, I was like,
right, they're righteous.
Wait, hold on, Khan, listen. This is what I was doing, yeah. I was just saying, let me just wait to finish it, and I was gonna.
No, I'm done.
And then but you just carried on going still, man.
No, but it's a never-ending scenario. Like, what I'm saying is, like,
no, you can wrap it up, though. Still, go on.
Let me wrap it up quickly. So what I'm saying is this:
go wrap it up, man.
People are now upset about what's going on in Ukraine and what's going on in in Gaza. But what I'm saying is this is the start of a new phase. The new phase is them doing the same thing what they're doing now on the edge. This is the edges, the peripheries. They're working their way across the globe. They're going to go through devouring up the whole place, bruv. We're going to see 1,000 years of this now, death and destruction. So they're already closing up the borders for immigrants because they know that their future plans is going to create even more immigrants than what there is now. Because you can't have war without immigrants. Any type of war you think about, yeah, it's always going to have an effect of like global migration and people having to move because they've been displaced due to war. And these lot have just recently started this whole thing now where they're going to go in and they're just going to break up countries, like I said, into 2 or 3 pieces, and they're just going to like fuck up everything, and they're just going to rinse out resources, and it's going to create more and more migration. The elites are getting richer and richer, the poor are getting poorer and poorer. Then you've got climate change kicking in. Then you're going to get climate migrants that are running from fucking climate change, and it's going to affect who? The poorest people, people that are living in tents in fucking the edges of countries because they've already been put there through some war machine coming through their ends. Yeah, they can't survive the climate changes. So what's going to happen? They're going to have to get on their toes, innit? Where they're going to go? Places like England. And then England's sitting there, oh, what are they coming here for? They're coming here for benefit. No, motherfucker. They're coming here to fucking live and breathe air. That's what they're coming here for, survival. But now they're going to lock down all that. Like I said, they need countries to be complicit in their bullshit. So they've got like, it's like I said, it's like digesting food. You got them at different stages of being broken down. And these ones are the ones that are just getting proper broke down into tiny pieces now, like, so they can devour them. I was like, I'm taking Gaza. What are you taking next then? You know what I mean? So when Turkey went into Syria, what did they say? They said, nah, man, forget this thing about breaking up countries. Forget the Kurds having their own region. Nah. The borders are staying how they are. They're staying intact. Syria is going to stay one country. Yeah? These lot don't want that. They don't want that. But they're too busy fucking up thingy now. Fucking up Palestine right now. They're devouring that into small, small pieces. That's how it is, bro. You're going to see more and more people. And this is what this whole anti-Islam rhetoric's about. Yeah, because they know they're going into the Middle East, they're going into Muslim countries, there's going to be Muslim migrants that are going to want to come to the West, and they're like saying, no, you're barbarians, no, your culture don't fit in with our culture, no. They're going into Africa doing the same thing, but they don't want Africans to come here, so they can't come up with this narrative of, it's the great replacement, we can't have black people coming over here, there's going to be no whites left. Oh, so if Africa was a white country, all right, they wouldn't have this issue right now. That's the thing with them. Making up bullshit excuses to fucking rinse out people's resources and not even gone.
So I was trying to tell them, Khan, man, they can't fuck with the minister, you get me? Can't fuck with the minister, Farrakhan, you get me? Preach,
Do you know what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah, me preach, homie. Let me go back home, you keep preaching, B.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying, oh, they're going to, oh, he's a Turk, he's an Ottoman, oh, he's an invader, oh, he's a colonizer. Yeah, but the way how we done it was by the book. We done it by the book. We don't displace people. But you lot had to displace people and fuck up the whole world. But yeah, you can go around the world, you know, with your army taking over, but there's a right and wrong way of doing it. These lot done it the sophisticated way. Like, I'm not a hater. I'm not saying, powerful people shouldn't dominate weaker people and whatever. Yeah, that's nature. Innit? The mighty always come out on top. We know this. But there's a right and wrong way of doing it. There's a code of conduct. There's righteousness involved. There's, you know what I mean? You've got to give the people something. You've got to break them off a little piece at least. Do you know what I mean? You've got to give them some dignity where they can have houses with fucking electricity. You know what I mean? Like, what world are we living in where you're turning people into fucking tent-dwelling fucking nomads out of the fucking Stone Age? Man's are living on fucking United Nations handouts of fucking tinned food and wearing charity clothes that we donated from fucking 25 years ago. Like, you're fucking up people, and then you're complaining that people ain't standing for it. Like, they're going on about this news and these leaders that done October the 7th, yeah? But them man were born in camps, grew up in camps. They're going on like fucking John Connor from fucking Terminator, bro. They don't know no different. They don't know normality. They don't know about having carpet on the floor. The man don't know about life, innit? A hanging picture on the wall. You think they know about any of that? The man are born and bred in camps, bro. You get me? And then when he wants to fucking carry out some warfare on you, you're like, oh, what kind of barbarian is this geezer? Yeah, he's the same monster that you've created. That makes sense to me. But this is the thing with whites, innit, and Europeans that always play the victim. Like, oh, they're all out to get us. They all want to come here. What have we done? But what do you mean? Like, it's obvious. Like, we're looking at the table and we can see the spread, innit? We can see what's out on it. It's all evident. Everything is there to be seen. Like, there's no point Wendy and Luke coming on panels and making up bullshit and crying like, oh, what are you talking about, Con? What do you mean, you fucking spastic? I'm telling you to your face that there was more English people dead on the YPG side than there was fucking Kurds. You got your people out there fighting wars, proxy wars, yeah? English people turning up dead, right? And then he's sitting over here going, nah, but a couple of Bengalis from Bradford went to fight for ISIS. How many? How many people from the UK went to fight in the Middle East, like from the Muslim side? A handful of people. And they make some big song and dance about it. But they're not telling you about international terrorism where British people going to get trained in camps and go on them killing spree holidays where they go to places like Turkey and Syria and Iraq and they give them machine guns and they're like, go on, clear out this village. And the man's going in there like it's fucking COD. He's going in there like it's a computer game. He's going in there like it's, what's it called, bruv? Call of Duty. Going in there thinking this is great, drilling up people, and then coming back to Europe like nothing happened, like butter, water, melt. That's how these people are living amongst us. But every now and then he goes on some little holiday where he kills 1,000 people and comes back like nothing happened. But they don't say nothing about that. And then he's like, yeah, but there was this one geezer. There was this one geezer. I'm telling you, squadrons of people turned up dead. When the Turks went in to clear out the YPG PKK, half the people in there were British and even women, British women. They're out there fighting, doing the Shamima Begum thing. But Shamima Begum was making tea and fucking having youths for man. These lot are out there, like these chicks, like these English chicks are out there in uniform, doing some G.I. Jane shit with machine guns, running around killing brown people for fun. Like, this is what we're dealing with.
So
It's
then
like
what
a
you think
holiday
about
now.
Shamima? How about some picture Shamima is?
This is the thing with the Shamima thing, like, she needs to face justice, innit? If we're saying she done a wrong thing, yeah, she needs to come and face the courts, innit? Like, to say she's going to stay in some camp in Syria and like, oh, well, we don't want her to, like, how delusional are you? You're living this like weird life where you think that even someone coming back here, getting dragged back to England to face court and go to prison is somehow better off than someone living in a desert in a tent somewhere. Like, yeah, we don't want her coming back here. What do you mean? Like, she ain't coming back to fucking eat McDonald's. She's coming back to fucking serve some hard labor. But they're like, nah, we don't want her coming back here. Let her stay out there. Like, what? Like, this is what bigotry does to people. Bigotry makes people not know right
About
from
the
wrong.
tea.
Not
So
know
that's about the
fucking...
tea.
What about the tea?
She that she was just at home with like a waifu, or making
Well,
tea and
Shamima
tidying
Begum,
up
yeah,
temple.
like these women that went out to join ISIS went out as they called them ISIS brides, innit? They went out there. Their intention was to start a new country, and basically, if they'd have been successful, England would be doing deals with them right now. Like, there's no tea organisation that England don't deal with. Do you know what I mean? Like the people that done the IRA thing in Ireland are now running the country. Like, they're fucking joined up to Europe. Like, people like fucking Paddy McGuinness and fucking, what's his name? Who's that geezer that used to run Sinn Féin? I forget his name now. The one that they never used to let him speak on TV. You weren't allowed to hear his voice. Yeah? Whoever that fucking prick was, anyway, him. Yeah? These are the people heading up the operation to incorporate Ireland into Europe and basically signed off their whole thing. Like, what? So you lot went through all this warfare and all this bombing and all this madness. We don't want to be dominated by Europe. I'm sorry, by England. And then what? You go and sign off the whole country to Europe? How does that work? You sell out your whole country to Europe now. At the same time, England's doing a Brexit, going, no, we want to get out of Europe. It's all bullshit. Adam, yeah, my man Adams. Yeah, Jerry Adams, yeah. So all the terrorists end up being what? Running their own country. Look, the Haganah, yeah, was the organization, a terrorist organization that carried out the King David bombing in Israel. Who are they? They're the founders of the IDF. They're the founders of the State of Israel. The terrorist organization that killed British people. We asked Wendy about that. She won't give a shit. They don't care. So the hypocrisy of it all is just too much for my stomach, man. Can't be bothered to deal with it, man. Got Luke like fucking arguing with me, going, no, it's not true. English people aren't going out there and fighting in these wars. No, they are, bro. He's going, oh, show me evidence of it. What do you mean? There's dead bodies they had to send back to England wearing Kurdish uniforms. What are you on about? Now they got the Kurds out there trying to separate out fucking Syria. They clap the oil fields. They're like, yeah, fuck the rest of the country. You lot can live in the desert part. We clap the oil fields, and America's going to make us a semi-autonomous region. We're going to have a semi-autonomous region in Syria. What? So you're going to join your semi-autonomous region to the semi-autonomous region you've already got in Iraq? Yeah. Then what are you going to do? The same thing in Iran as well. So what? You're creating a new country out of all these like little pieces of other countries that you've broken up. Like, it's just bullshit, bro. It's just them getting their fucking hands on everything. Poor people not even being allowed to have the dignity of having their own houses and their own towns and their own cities and their own lives. Like, that's just, bro, it's just bullshit. It's just all this, all these stories are just...
Stop crying. You're getting on my nerves.
Stop talking. Yeah? If you're not saying anything, don't bother speaking. Yeah?
Yeah, but you're whinging and whinging and whinging.
One minute. This ain't whinging. I'm showing you that you are a bunch of hypocrites who go on like you're some civilized people and everyone else are barbarians, and they're all coming swimming across the channel to come to this country for no apparent reason other than they want to claim benefits. Like, this is just some nonsensical fucking bigotry that you lot are pushing. You've normalized bigotry. You've normalized hating people. When we look at the full story of these people and what they've suffered,
shut up,
and what
you
they've been
fucking
through,
white hater.
What are you on about?
You're the one who normalises hating white people.
Why are you trying to play
and
the
people
victim?
in the UK. You're the one that goes on fucking branding us all the fucking same. You're the one who's just collectivised us.
You're an idiot. You are. What's collectivising mean? Explain collectivising then.
I said collectivising us.
Yeah, you're making up words now.
No, I'm not. Go and look it up.
What does that mean?
Oh, you live in England.
Explain what it means to me.
You made a sweeping statement that all the English are the same.
Well, listen, you can't just jump on and tell someone they're talking bullshit.
I can, and I fucking will.
No, you can't, because you ain't saying nothing. You ain't saying nothing.
I've said enough. You're moaning about fucking the people you're living amongst. Shut up.
You ain't said nothing. Say something worth replying to.
Either you're British or you're not. Are you British?
Say something. Are you
British?
Is Hector British?
Are you British?
He's
a British citizen.
No, he
not
ain't.
British
Jack shit.
Are you British?
He ain't jack shit.
Oh, he ain't jack shit. What, you starting on my husband? Where's your wife?
What do you mean, what wife?
Got to get personal, wouldn't you? Because you can't fucking admit that you're a fucking racist.
You're a bigot. You're a bigot.
You're the bigot.
You don't know nothing about
you're
anything.
The bigot.
And
you go around telling people you've got a black cock. You're weird.
Is this it then? This is what you're going to do? You're going to come on and do this?
Well, why not? You started it. You wanted to go for my husband. He ain't even here.
What do you mean he ain't here? Do I give a fuck if he's there?
He's at fucking work, you fucking knob, where you should be.
He came to this country to work to feed his daughter.
What are you on about?
You're just a numpty that let him do that.
He never had a kid before. That's a fucking made up story by fucking black women who are jealous of the fucking relationship.
There we go.
If I had a black daughter, I'd be showing her off to fucking everybody. It'd go to my benefit, wouldn't it? Especially when you try to brand me a racist, you little cunt. But you're the one who hates on white people. Yeah. The funny thing is, you're fucking not far from white yourself, are you?
Oh, so what we got here then?
You take all the privilege and then sit here trying to fucking drag other people in. What was it you said? Oh yeah, they do. It's all because they don't want Africans in the country. That ain't. It's because we don't
This
want
is-
Muslim extremists. Everyone knows the fucking truth.
What are you on about?
We don't want rapists running around up and down the country.
Your husband, your
That's the black
colonial
people
husband.
doing it. It's mainly fucking Pakistani Muslims.
Your colonial husband that hates Muslims is the one who radicalized you against Muslims.
Oh my God, Khan, do you not realise how retarded you actually sound?
Nah, her husband came to this country hating Muslims already for what's going on in Nigeria.
No,
That's
Yes,
not
he
true.
did. Yes, he did.
Do you know
Yes, he does.
Hector?
And why
Who's
were you
he?
questioning if Jews could speak English?
What do you mean?
Well, someone in the audience is saying that you was over on Ghost having a conversation about how Jews can't speak English.
I was asking where they learn English.
Oh my God, that. But I only came on because I'm definitely not staying on here because I'm just gonna get riled up. But I am gonna say this, Khan. Yeah, I just heard you say about whiteys playing victim. Yeah, who was it the other day? Yeah, I don't know how long ago it was. Who was it the other day, Khan, that was sat on a panel? He was saying, oh, the whiteys move out of London, but we can't do it, because we don't have enough money, because we're so oppressed. I mean, honestly, you're the biggest victim out of everybody, out of every race. Khan, you are the biggest victim.
Are you about to leave, bro?
cannot talk about
You about to leave?
whiteys being victims.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't mind him
Neither
having
one
an
of them-
opinion,
listen,
but if he's
listen,
going to go on a
listen.
2-hour
Neither
monologue
one of them-
crying, it's
neither
fucking
one of them-
boring.
Neither one of them is saying anything worth even responding to. You don't even deserve a response. You're just so dumb, the pair of you. You're just normalising bigotry. You're just
Oh
taking
my
a
God,
bigoted
so
position.
dumb.
Bigot.
You're
Do
just
you want to
taking a
listen to
bigoted
what you
position.
just said for
No,
the
you're
last
the
20
bigot.
Your rant,
hours?
you sectioned
You're the
off
bigots.
people all over the fucking place, and you distanced yourself from being British.
What do you mean distance myself from being British, you idiot? What does that mean? Explain that.
Well, you keep othering
how do
everybody
you
else in the
understand
country
that?
as if you're not part of it.
And you're part of it, yeah?
Of course I'm British.
So you're proud of your country.
Sorry,
going to
what was
Ukraine
it? Was he
now
doing to
and
make himself
starting
not
wars
British?
up for no reason? And even Donald Trump's coming along and saying, "What the fuck were these
I'm
idiots
saying
doing
he's
for
offering
fucking
himself
3
apart
whole
from it. He's
years?"
making it look like we're
For 3
British and he
whole
ain't.
years, these idiot British were going out trying to start a war with Russia. What the fuck were they thinking? Even Donald Trump saying that to you. Now what?
Hang on a minute. How are we going out and trying to
Now
start a
what?
war with Russia?
No point asking stupid
Are you living
questions.
on a different
There's
planet?
no point asking stupid questions because I can't be stupid enough to answer your stupid question with a stupid answer.
No, because you don't
Donald
have an
Trump's already
answer.
told you.
Yeah,
Khan.
yeah, come on, Babs, let's go off. Let's leave him.
Fuck
with
off,
his
you pair
whining.
of fucking
Let him keep
spastics.
crying for 2 hours.
You're an idiot. You've come on and not said nothing.
Yeah, I'm not going to bother. I'm going to let you
There's nothing
cry.
to say.
Keep crying. That's all I've got to say. Keep
There's
crying.
nothing to say. You're
Keep
just
crying,
listen,
you fucking
listen.
woke idiot.
Ain't nothing to do with being
Hey,
woke.
sure, you
It's to
didn't-
be
you
with
didn't really
you
say anything
being brainwashed
against what
and
he was
sucking
saying,
up to the elites and going,
He said he's
well,
crying.
what can we do? We've got to go along with it.
Right. Khan, can I give you a scenario? Yeah. Right. You come from Morocco. Are you were born in Morocco? I don't know. I don't know where you were, but you were. I think you were born in Morocco. Yeah.
No. Do you know a place called Akrotiri? Do you know it?
No, but
It's a
does
British
it
air
matter?
base. It's a British air base. That's where I
Right.
was born there.
Oh, okay. So you were born there. So you weren't born here.
It's in
yeah?
Cyprus.
So,
It's in Cyprus.
Oh, Cyprus. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So supposing.
What do you mean I weren't
like,
born here? It's
hang
part
on
of
a
here.
minute. Hang on a minute. Yeah. Supposing
It's a sovereign base. It's owned by the Queen and the King of England. It's the equivalent of being born in Canada, where you was born. It's part of the United Kingdom.
Am I going to get a word in?
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Right. Because I'm trying to give you a scenario. Right. So your little island, Cyprus, yeah, supposing
yeah.
it got invaded by like 3 million British people, yeah, went there, took over, was
What do you mean
raping all the
supposing? That is what
all the
happened.
children on
That is
the
what happened.
island,
Yeah, that is what happened.
causing absolute havoc,
Yeah,
machete fights in the streets
yeah,
and all
yeah,
sorts of stuff, yeah. How
yeah.
would you feel? How
That is
would
what
you
happened.
feel?
The British have gone around the world starting wars. I've listed
When?
them. Iraq,
When?
Saudi Arabia, Cyprus. The Turkish War of Independence was against England. They fought them
Right.
for 4 years. Gallipoli, fucking
How?
all these fucking
When?
shit. Don't you know about Gallipoli?
Yeah,
That
but
was
I
that's
in
a
know
very
about
bad
it all.
example, man.
Done.
What
A
difference
bad
does it
I'm
make
example, that was
telling
when?
bad.
you when.
What difference does it make when?
Yes, of course it does. Because when is
Why?
enough enough?
What do you mean? When is enough enough? You just
Oh
came
my
from Canada
God.
the other day.
Are you
Who did that
dumb?
belong to? Who does that belong to? Where's the indigenous people that lived there before you?
Oh, honestly,
What do you mean?
you
You're an
can't have
idiot.
you
No, but
can't
Because you're
have a
that's
decent
complicit.
a.
conversation
But wait,
with you.
he asked you a question, but you didn't even answer though. He asked you that what's happened to the
I've
indigenous
asked
people
him
in Canada.
questions, Betty, and he
He
didn't
did. He answered your
answer
question.
me.
You gave
Have
him a
you
bad example.
noticed, Betty, that
You
you're
said. You
very
said.
one-sided?
Yeah.
Because
You
the
said
other
to
night
him.
you had a go at me in the chat, and yet you
You
didn't
said
have a
to
go at
him.
Chrissy Morris. Yeah?
Yeah. You said.
Because I
How did
said
I
to
have a go at
Chrissy
you?
Morris,
What
I
you talking
don't
about, man?
think you've got children. And yet Chrissy Morris said to Wendy, I don't think you have children. But you didn't jump on and say anything to Chrissy Morris, yet you're quick enough to say something to me. Does that make
Yeah.
you a
You
woman
just said.
bully, Betty? Does
Yeah.
that make
Okay.
you a
All right.
woman bully, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not
I'm a woman
scared
bully,
to
innit?
stand
Yeah.
up to you
Okay.
people. Yeah?
What
And
does
I'm
that mean?
pissed
You're not
off.
scared to stand up to us
I'm
people.
pissed off with
What does that
Khan
mean? What does that even
calling
mean?
us whiteys.
Man, shut up, man. You just chatting shit now. Like again, same thing. Yeah, he asked you about. First of all, you brought a bad example about any countries invading other countries and taking their lands over or whatever in it. Yeah, because obviously you know a lot of European countries have already done that. So
She's gone.
and
She's
then when
gone.
he's asking you about the
This is the
Canada thing,
bro, Veli, this is a demonstration of the exact thing what people say a lot of cognitive dissonance. This is what this is. Like she's asking a question like as if her hands are so clean that she's even got the front, the gall, the audacity to ask you, since when have England gone around the world starting wars? After I've just been talking for 1 hour
but this
about
is
how
the
they've
same
literally
thing. Like,
dismantled
that's a
up
bad
the whole
example.
Middle East. Like that's just like nuts.
It's
It's
obviously a
like
bad
I
example because
did
they have
I
it.
actually say that, Khan, you fucking idiot? Yeah? What I'm saying is you're going back to, I don't know, 17th century, 18th century. Why don't we go back to the 13th century? Actually, why don't we go back to when the world first started and we make people pay for every single thing that they bloody well done? Yeah, I'm fucking pissed off with hearing this victimhood, and yet you've got the gall to sit on here and call other people victims and call us whiteys. Yeah?
This is
What are you
another one,
talking
Because
about?
Veli.
at the end of the day,
Whiteies.
Since
if
these
I
lot have been
turned
on, yeah,
around
let me
and I
explain it. One
called
sec.
you lot
Stick a pin in it. Stick a pin in
blackies,
it. One
you would
sec.
be
One
the
sec.
first
One
lot
sec.
fucking
No, no, no.
crying.
You can't call no one
You're
blackies,
crying
you
right
idiot.
now.
How you
You're
calling
actually
people
crying right now,
blackies,
though.
How
you
am I
idiot?
crying, Billy? I'm making
Listen
a
to your
statement.
voice. Listen to your voice. You're raging right now inside your
Yeah,
house.
because I just can't get it through to you guys.
Wendy
You
was
lot are
Don't listen.
complaining.
You
Veli,
don't. You
Wendy was
don't.
complaining
What
that
happens
on
here is that you hear a reply to an answer, which is an answer
You
that you
hear,
don't like to
hang
hear,
on,
and
hang
then you
on,
start.
this is how sick he
You
is.
hear.
You
You
hear a
hear.
reply to an answer.
Wendy was
Okay,
complaining that on TikTok
sorry,
they
Yeah.
referred
but
So
to
you're.
they referred to
So
them
what
as
your
YT.
answer? Wait, hold on. So
YT.
you gave an
you
answer
hear a
about.
reply
Wait.
to an answer. Talk
All
about
right. So you
fucking
gave.
retard.
Imagine this spaz here is calling anyone thick here. So my reply
Yeah,
to your answer
imagine
was.
this
Shut up for a second. Let anyone speak, man. Because you keep crying about no one letting you speak, but you won't shut the
She's
fuck
got
up.
nothing to say. There's nothing that's coming out of her mouth
Shut up,
that's
man.
worth
Shut up
even
for a second.
answering.
Listen, that's why you get everything wrong, because you never shut your mouth and listen. You just keep talking and yapping and think you know anything. You actually don't know shit.
She don't care. She don't care. She don't care.
You need to listen to Belly, Khan. He's telling you, Khan. You never shut your mouth.
If you
Babs,
actually got
listen,
anything
yeah.
to say,
Stop
apart
being
from
silly
calling
now.
people
No, but
blackies,
listen.
yeah, have you got anything to say?
The point was yeah, that, listen.
I never made it up. It's on TikTok, you idiot. YT. It's pronounced whites. It's not pronounced YT the way you're saying it.
But that's what you called
It's a letter
us.
Y and a letter T.
Who
I
did?
don't call you that. That's off TikTok.
Oh, fucking hell.
Wendy was complaining that.
Wendy was complaining about TikTok.
Wendy was complaining
language.
about TikTok language. Going, they're changing the language. They're changing
And now you
the
made it like it's
language.
Khan's fault that everyone's calling people YT
Do you know
on
what
TikTok.
I mean? It's like some mad one, bro. It's not even whitey.
That's TikTok
It's
language,
not even
man.
whitey. It's YT. YT. 2 letters that mean whites.
So why do you have to call us white, Khan? How would you like it if I went around and I was calling you black?
God damn.
Mr.
You don't want to
Black.
be called white no more. God damn.
What are you on about?
Why are you calling
Weird
us
right now.
whiteies?
He's not calling you white, bro.
it's
Listen,
TikTok
Babs,
language
stop
that
being
Wendy's
silly, man. You
complaining
literally just
about.
heard him explain. But you heard him explain it to you 2 seconds ago, man, and now you're just
I don't agree with
repeating
it
the same.
because in the context he used it, he wasn't using TikTok language.
Who gives a
If
shit?
you listen
Is that
back
the biggest
to what
thing you've got
he
on your
said-
plate right now? Is that the thing that's bothering you out of everything? I'm talking to you about kids getting murdered, people getting put into
Like,
fucking
he's saying that's what they
camps,
say on TikTok,
and the
man. It's
only
just
thing
TikTok
you've
language.
got to worry about is fucking people calling you whitey. Is that it?
Calling you white. You're worried about that. You don't call me white no more.
Because you two are the biggest, what is it? The biggest victims of calling us lot racists. And
Yeah,
yet
but the thing
you
is, you're
two
not a victim
are
because
actually
You're a
the
victim
racists.
right now.
You get to
You're
move
being
from
a victim
Canada
right now
to
because you're just
England.
crying
You
about
can move to
nothing. There ain't even
Australia
nothing to cry
tomorrow
for.
if
You're
you
just
wanted
crying.
to. That's you get benefits out of this whole thing. We don't, innit? We don't get no benefits. You get the benefits, yeah. You get the benefits, yeah.
Hey, Babs, can you send some of your
Oh my
testosterone to
God.
Esau?
What?
Hey, Babs,
Benefits,
listen,
I'm
yeah.
not on
Send some of your
benefits.
testosterone to Esau because he needs it, man. He's a bitch right now, bro. Like, you're fucking acting more manly than he
I've
is.
heard it all now.
Why,
I've heard
why,
it all.
Belly? Because
I've heard it
Esau
all.
No, because
Hey.
you're more
Benefits.
you're
Hang
acting more
on.
manly than he is. He's a little bitch.
Yeah? Why is that? Why is that? Because I know how to stick up for myself. So why is that?
Yeah, he don't. He's a dickhead.
Hang on. I'm going to give you some information.
Go on then. Go on
Because
then.
Esau paid Voldemort, i.e. Haley,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to report you to your job in social services.
Ooh. Ooh.
You know
That's
what?
some
Yeah, it's funny
drama.
about all this
That's some
looking for jobs and
drama.
social services and all that.
Why do you
It's-
think that
it's
they're
not actually
all
gonna do
friendly
anything,
with
anyway.
Kaylee all of a sudden? Why do you think they're over there saying, "Oh yeah, Kaylee's lovely. Oh yeah, Kaylee's lovely," and if she gives me her bank account number, I'll put some money in it for her.
Yeah, it's good, man. Let them do what they're doing, innit, man? Like you said, like, what? Imagine all the time that these guys are concentrated on belly, while I'm concentrated on what I need to do, taking care of my youths and so. These people will neglect their own children and shit. Like, one's lost their own kids. One fucking is like a part-time daddy that spends more time on the internet trying to chase people than feeding his kids breakfast and all that sort of shit. So I ain't really got to worry about these guys, you know?
So at the end of the day,
why are you poking your nose in? You, Miss BBB, Busybody Babs.
Hang on a minute.
Why are you always poking your nose in?
Didn't
your family tell you to stay offline?
Why are you
Are you
poking
not
your
asked to stay offline?
nose in,
Why don't you
Miss
respect your family and stay
Nisa?
offline? Why are you such an old busybody? Seriously.
Why are you poking your nose into something that's got nothing to do with you?
What hasn't got nothing to do with me?
Any of this.
What are you doing here?
Because I came onto the panel like normal people come on to have a
though? You're not supposed to
discussion.
be here. You're not supposed to be here. You're
No,
supposed to
no,
be
no,
taking a
that
break.
isn't what
For
happened,
the sake
actually,
of your
Nigisa.
family,
But I'm not going
you're
to go
supposed to
telling
be
you what
taking a
happened because I
break.
don't
But
want
you can't even
little
do that,
Miss
can you?
Busybodies
No,
who
because
go
you're a Miss
around causing shit
BBB.
for other people, knowing
Busybody bats.
exactly what
Always
happened.
poking her
The
nose in
people that
where it
needed to
doesn't belong.
know what
Why?
happened.
Because you won't do the right thing and just be a good grandma and just go and settle yourself.
I
Yeah?
am a good grandma
That's what
and
you're
I'm a
supposed to
brilliant
do.
mother as
Step
well.
up
That's
line and
why
settle
I've got
yourself,
more
man. You're
upstanding
too
citizens as
nosy, man.
children. Can you
You're
say that?
too nosy and you know nothing about nothing and you're always sticking your oar into something you know absolutely nothing about.
So do you.
Yeah? You're
So
always
do you.
accusing people. Shut up, man. You're
So do
always
you. Oh,
accusing
what's
people.
the matter?
Shut
You
up,
don't like
shut
me
up,
saying
shut
it back
up,
to
shut
you.
up, shut
You
up,
think that
man.
you're
You're
fucking
always
superior.
accusing people falsely. Yeah? You say
Like
the most
what?
wickedest shut up, man. You say the
Like
most
what?
wickedest things about people, and then you want to come and crawl around like say under nothing. Yeah? Go along about your business, man. Yeah?
You mind
Yeah?
your own
Go
business.
away, man.
Don't
You know nothing about nothing.
speak.
You're always accusing people of things. You know what I mean? You have no evidence for it. You just follow behind people knowing nothing about nothing. You're an idiot, man. Yeah? And stop writing in my comments as well. You're a dickhead, man. Yeah? Go and do something sensible, man. Go and look after your family, man. Yeah? Because you're always BBB, busybody bads. And you know nothing about nothing about nothing. Yeah? That's what I'm telling you. Don't call my name neither. You're an idiot, man. You just follow behind people. You know nothing about nothing. You're a dickhead, man.
These people are disgusting, man. They got one foot in the
And
fucking
usually they're all
grave. They got one foot in the fucking grave, and the only thing they're fucking upset about is the fact that they can't infect the new generation with their fucking bigotry. They're worried now, aren't they? Because no one wants to go and fucking fight in a war that they created. Why don't none of the young kids want to fight for their country? Because this is the country that you cunts made, that they don't relate to. Fucking mad.
democracy collapses, it's not replaced by nice liberal democracy. It's replaced by a vicious battle for power between the armed units inside the organization. So we have to be quite careful what we wish for when we're dealing with these autocratic countries.
Can I bring you back to Ireland for a second, and just take this very, very current case, which people are talking about a lot at the moment, which is this agent run by the military called Steakknife, who, according to the recent reports, essentially the accusation is that they didn't think carefully enough about working with this person. And the allegation effectively is that in order to get the access to this very specialist unit of the IRA, they allowed this man to be complicit in various crimes. And I suppose this is I'd love you to reflect on what must have been at the time a very difficult balance between the risk and the return that they thought they could get from that kind of penetration.
That balance was not one apparent to my service at the time, because we weren't aware of Steakknife till after we had responsibility, as we did many other cases, for resettling him as an agent. It's a disgraceful case. I think,
and it's
to some degree,
yeah.
I have sympathy with the NCOs who are running those sort of cases. They were not properly trained. They didn't have rules and discipline. Now, I heard your comments on this operation in an earlier podcast, and I dissent from a couple of things you said, where you said the police had systems and requirements from the 60s. They didn't. You know, the RUC was had up for sleep deprivation. Lots of mistakes were made. But my organisation had very strict rules on this. from the early 80s onwards, late 70s onwards. And
what are the rules, broadly speaking?
Well, the rules are, there's now legislation which went through, I think 2 years ago, on the involvement of covert human intelligence sources in crime. And if that's to happen now, supposing to have credibility, an agent needed to steal a car, it has to be reported and authorised. It has to be authorised in advance. It has to be reported to the Office of the Investigatory Powers Commissioner, who does an annual report on the proportionality and necessity of this. But murder, rape, GPH, if any source of the security service engaged in that sort of criminality, they would be handed to the police.
If I could just add that we did learn a lot from the lessons of Northern Ireland when we were running counter-terrorism operations overseas. My first exposure to this, when I was chief, I became chief in November 2009. And 6 weeks later, on Christmas Day, I was phoned by the emergency team in the office to say that a terrorist had just landed at Chicago airport with his pants on fire, literally. This was Abdul Muttalib, who'd been supplied with a bomb by Al-Qaeda in Yemen. And this shot Al-Qaeda in Yemen up our targets list. And even more so when the following year, a year or so later in 2010, I think it was, when we were told by our Saudi counterparts that a bomb was aboard a plane about to land at East Midlands Airport at 4 o'clock in the morning. I was woken at sort of 3:30 to be told this welcome news. And we had to galvanise everybody in the East Midlands, which isn't the centre of MI6 operations, as you can imagine. So MI5,
quite likely not,
the special branch and so on were closely involved. Special branch took the designated package off, which was a photocopier, and said, we can't find the bomb. Where is it? We'll drive it down the M1 so you can have a look at it. And we said, no, don't do that, don't do that. Leave it where it is. And we went back to the Saudis at sort of 5 o'clock in the morning saying, where's the effing bomb? They said, it's in the printer cartridge. And so we managed to dismantle this photocopier, and there it was, a very sophisticated bomb that would have exploded and brought down this aircraft as it was coming into JFK, sort of 7 or 8 hours later. And then again, a year or two later, we did a much more sophisticated operation than Steak Knife. We got one of our own agents inside this bomb factory in Yemen and extracted from it the most sophisticated terrorist bomb, which would have evaded metal detectors at UK airports at the time, which again, and our agent was actually asked to be the suicide bomber on board the plane. Yeah, he was a Yemeni national who was living in the UK, and a special branch and MI5 had helped bring him along as an agent. And we deployed him overseas after a lot of training. And he, with extraordinary bravery, went and was kitted out with this bomb, and was told to get on a plane at a specific UK airport because they cased the joint. They knew which UK airport, which flew direct to the US, had the weakest security checks. And it was an example where they saved hundreds of lives in the air, probably thousands of lives on the ground. And we had to do it in a very sophisticated and careful way.
Can I just sort of just to return to this, because presumably the closer you get to the top of a terrorist organization, I mean, in the case of Steak Knife, he's the deputy head of the counter-intelligence operations of the IRA. So he's the deputy head of the organization whose job is to go around eliminating people who they think are traitors. Presumably, and the same would be true in Al-Qaeda, if you actually had an agent at a very, very senior level in these organizations, it must be presumably very difficult to avoid them being involved in killing people. Does that basically mean that you can't recruit them?
If they have a motivation to work for you, they don't want to be killing people, generally. And I'm not pretending this is easy, but I think the judgment that the Steak Knife was a bad operation is absolutely right. And I hope that had it been our operation, we would have aborted it very early on. You have to have some moral parameters to intelligence work. Exactly. If you abandon ethics and say anything goes, you become like the people that you were trying to penetrate, and you have to maintain that sense of propulsion, necessity, the law, etc. I mean, when I joined the service, there was no law governing us. It took us till 1989 to get any. It's one of the most important things for the organisation to have a proper legal framework to enable the work to go on and to have clarity about where the boundaries were. It was enabling.
Yo, hey, listen, I gotta jump off here because I need to go and
Yeah,
do
yeah.
some work right now. But I can leave you on the panel for us. I'm not even sure how long's left on this StreamYard timing still, but man's using the
It's up
free
to you
plan
what you
for
want
now.
to do, bro.
Still.
If you want to lock it off, it's fine with me because like these subjects never ending, bro. It's never ending subject. We can always come back to it. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, see you less then, man. We're back tomorrow,
man.
then, innit?
Yeah, yeah. Have a nice day, innit?
Big up everyone, man. See you later, man. Big up yourself, man.
Cool.
Big up.
Yeah,
Mans
big up,
might pop
big
off a show, man. You know?
I'll see you later. Have a good one.
All right. All right. Big up.